Hi, welcome to Chick-fil-A. How may I help you? You see, I don't work there anymore, so don't believe that I do. Just because I have on this uniform, well, actually, it's not a uniform now because I'm not there, so it's just a shirt and pants. But anyway, I'm going to do my little mini review of Chick-fil-A, and my name is Gary. Welcome. And I used to work at Chick-fil-A for about 30 days, so not very long to learn much of anything. But I'm still going to do my little review here. Let's see what we got. We're going to read from some reviews of other people about Chick-fil-A. I'm not going to tell you which location, but it is in California and it is in Los Angeles, the place that I worked at. Do not go there. I even saw one employee sneeze with his mask around his neck and just wiped his nose onto his clothes. You'll get sick and be exposed to people. When I complained to the manager, they were indifferent. That was from Anita and April. Let's try another one here. There's no way a business like this location can remain in business with a negative level of customer service. Employees chatting with each other about the shots they took the night before, massaging each other, demonstrating new dance moves, clocking out for lunch, etc. 15 minutes, I waited for a cold chicken sandwich. That was from Berto in February. Let's see, here's another one. Do not ever visit this Chick-fil-A location. The layout of the drive-thru is a chaotic nightmare. It's a disaster, absolute mess. I would rather run full speed into a cactus than ever return. This was a truly painful experience. That was Eric in January. And let's see, this person, the layout is too tiny for the congested corner, so beware, you will surely wait in line for at least 15 minutes for a drive-through. I was also pretty disappointed with the food itself. The sweet tea and chicken were okay, but the fries were overcooked. That was from May, and her name is May in January. And the last one here, from the drive-through to the cashier, are rude and toxic. If you don't like your job, then don't work there. And let's see, that was from JB and April. Don't go here if you want shit service. So anyway, those are a couple reviews, and I'm gonna, I worked there about a month, maybe a month and a week, something like that. And I was at a location that was just opening, so I do want to give some compliments to say that people were brought in from out of town, out of state, and they were just fantastic. The crew, they brought in from different Chick-fil-A restaurants to train everybody. They were just fantastic, very diligent, very professional, very friendly. And I understand that there's a certain training period that they require. In this particular case, I think they truncated and shortened the training period. So maybe that was the problem in the beginning, that instead of having 1 week of training, people probably needed 2 weeks of training. But of course, when you open places like this, fast food restaurants, any type of job, you do bring in a few people that are experienced from other locations, so that does help out. But I think overall, that was what I heard, that the workers that were there actually needed, more training, and maybe didn't get it. I don't know. I worked in the front area. I didn't work in the back where the food was at. I did have to walk through that area occasionally to get supplies. I would say the food is fantastic. I never saw anything unsanitary. Everything was very sanitary and very professional, very clean. Everybody paid attention to the rules. Everybody was following the procedure. Chick-fil-A, by the way, they have a very extensive regimen for training you on how to handle the food in a sanitary manner. You wash your hands 2 or 3 times, things like that. And you have to keep all the countertops clean and everything. So that was a real regimen. And even for the people that were in the front, like myself, we had to go through a certified training just because you're dealing with food products. So again, I didn't work in the back with the food, but I did have some good conversations with some of the people that worked in the food area where they cooked the food, and they were just very, very helpful as to trying to make sure everybody's working as a team. Because sometimes you're up front and you have questions, you want to know, what's going on with the food, is it ready? Is it cooked okay? Why is the customer complaining? That type of thing. And sometimes it's the people that are cooking it and preparing it can explain it to you and share with you what's going on. And you can kind of, tweak your own performance to make sure things go a little bit better, and maybe share a few things with the customer. And that makes the customer feel good when you share things with them. Makes them feel more comfortable and more at home and more at ease about what's going on. I've seen people who were in line, and like I said, I worked in the front area, so I didn't do the register. That's another story because I wanted to be trained on the register. I wanted to be trained on the waiting on people in the drive-through, but they just didn't give me the training. So I basically was in the front area, keeping the tables clean, making sure the condiments, napkins were stocked, and also greeting the customers when they came in. And I just want to say that, the customers feel more at home when they come in. Sometimes they come in and they be looking at the receipt, and they're like, "Oh, I've been standing here a long time." And I look at the receipt and I say, "Well, how long have you been here?" And they were there 5 minutes. So I don't know. Fast food is fast food, but I don't know, about 1 to 2 minutes. I mean, that's pretty fast to, and a lot of the Chick-fil-A food is cooked fresh. So it's not going to be, you're not going to cook that chicken breast in 1 or 2 minutes and prep it and get it out there. It's just not going to happen in 1 or 2 minutes. So you do have to be prepared for that. I mean, it's not the same as the other fast food places where some of the food is already prepared ahead of time and it's just sitting in a warmer. Basically, for the most part, Chick-fil-A is cooking stuff, fresh when you come up. So it does take a little bit longer. But anyway, yeah, I worked in the front, and the only thing about the front that I can say about the training for me was that everybody I work with is very professional, very friendly. It's just 1 or 2 people. Unfortunately, they happen to be management people, that tend to be a little bit cold. If you ask questions, sometimes they tended not to maybe hear what you were saying or didn't want to address what you were saying. And that's kind of unfortunate because, we're all working together in fast food, and we're all trying to help the customers and help each other, and you're in a close environment, so you really do need to communicate. But for the most part, I would say that it was a pleasant working experience, other than 2 or 3 management people that just seemed to have a very cold shoulder towards people. I didn't look at it that they were directing at me personally, because I just wasn't there that long for that. But you see a lot of things going on, even though you're only there a month. I mean, I'm very observant, so I see things. But I would compliment them on the food and the experience of going there. I don't know about the politics and everything of Chick-fil-A. If you don't like the politics, that's your personal thing. But I didn't see any type of unprofessional or any type of, just a variety of people working there, men, women, young people, old people. I didn't see any type of, discrimination or anything occurring when I was there. And of course, this was a new store that was opening. I gave you another hint there. And, it's kind of probably busier than normal. But mainly the whole thing is training. I'm a big person on training also. Any job I go on, I want to be trained properly. I'm pretty good at managing things and managing my own job, and I can kind of piece things together if you don't give me all the training. But I prefer to have the training from the beginning to do it the way you want it done. The same thing with Chick-fil-A. I prefer to have the Chick-fil-A training so I know exactly how you want it done, and then I can go from there. So the only regret I have is that I didn't learn how to do the register, and I didn't learn how to do the drive-through. And the other thing was that when I was up front, of course, it's not hard to do the napkins and do the condiments, but you want to make sure you're doing it properly. So nobody actually sat with me or walked me around or followed me or shadowed me. And that I kind of regret it because, if you don't shadow a person at first, initially, and then later on, a week or 2 down the road, you're sniping at them. Oh, don't snipe at me. Okay, why didn't you train me to do that in the first place? So for that extent, I mean, the initial training, which was classroom training, before we got to the floor, was cool. Once we got on the floor, we're working with the trainers that were from other states and other cities. That was cool. Other Chick-fil-A's, that was cool. But once those trainers left, you still have a responsibility to make sure people are trained properly. And so I think they fell down a little bit in that area. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as my own self, when I was in the lobby and I was greeting people coming in the door, nobody ever came to me and said, from management, Oh, you're doing that good. Oh, no, I don't want you to do it that way. I want you to tell people this. I want you to tell people that. This is what I want you to say when you're at Chick-fil-A. So I want you to tell the customers. Nobody ever said that to me. And that was kind of something I regretted because I said, this doesn't seem right. I want to know how to address people as you want Chick-fil-A to address them, and that was never told to me. So that's the only thing I regretted. Um, let's see. So basically, I had 80%, I'd say, positive experience. I did see little things like, oh, they had I don't know if they still do it, but they had a thing where they were recycling the condiments. So if you had condiments on your tray with your kids and everything else, and you know, were finished with them and didn't use them, instead of throwing them out, they would recycle them. I thought that was a no-no. Um, the other thing was that they had using a fire lane to use the drive-through. I thought that was a no-no because the fire lane is there for a purpose. It's for everybody's safety that's in the fire lane. It's for the safety of the neighbors and everything. And I don't know if that was too kosher. It seemed like a little kind of addressing the legal situation was kind of chancy there. That people were going through a drive-through, going using an alley or a fire lane to use as a drive-through. I didn't think that was correct. And then, you know, I don't know if they know much about the California law, but the California law in terms of you quitting or being fired and how you get paid, that's much different than other states. So I think they need to pay a little more attention to that. But anyway, that's my review for today of Chick-fil-A because I'm running out of time here, and I hope you learned something from it. And again, pay attention to the law, pay attention to people's rights when they get their last check, when they get quit or something. You know, California, you can quit on the spot. You don't have to give 2 weeks notice. So that's a big thing with Chick-fil-A, but it's not legal in California. Okay, so have a great day, and hope you do visit a Chick-fil-A today, this afternoon, this weekend. Thank you, and have a good day.